Hey y'all, Chelsea Williams here with Core Solutions, coming at you again with another discussion style interview that I think is going to be really awesome. So our mission with Core Solutions Group is to help law firm owners get financial clarity on the business side of practicing law through outsourced tax, accounting, and cash management services. But to further our cause, we created this video series which focuses on the top 10% of law firm owners. Now, normally this means law firm owners who have been in business for 10 years or more, but today's going to be a little bit different. These discussion style interviews feature those who have made it past 10 years and have a heart to help newer struggling law firm owners get some clarity around how to make it to that next level. And they do that by empowering you with their stories and real life examples in hopes that you can identify opportunities for improvement and take actions that are required to see it through and get to the next level. So like I said, today's going to be a little bit different in that our guest no longer owns a law firm, but he has built and sold a seven-figure practice, not once, but twice. They call him the Millionaire Maker, and he will also answer to Ken Partin. But while he's no longer operating law firms, he's still in the legal industry and very active, doing a little bit of consulting and coaching work, which I'll let him share a little bit more about himself. Ken, thank you so much for giving us some of your time today and sharing some of the information that you have.
Oh, thank you, Chelsea. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing now and kind of how you came to this place.
Well, now I own a company called Powerful Innovative Legal Marketing Management for Attorneys. And basically, what I'm trying to do is help lawyers create a practice that works for them instead of them working for it. Because what I see across the country is lawyers who are being very reactive versus proactive. They're working 60 hours a week, and they got no quality of life, and their bottom line sucks, and they just, or either they're stuck. They hit a certain plateau, and they don't know how to get to the next level. And but I guess my mission, sort of like you got, my mission is to help these lawyers figure out how to create a practice that works for them, whatever it might be. Some lawyers want to make goo-goos of money. Some of them want to make, a couple $100,000 and be able to get off of work at 3 and go spend time with their kids or do a hobby. And, and I always say success is doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, with who you want to do it with. It really, money gives you freedom to be able to do those things. I mean, money is, I found out real quick, money does not buy you happiness.
Amen.
But it gives you freedom to figure out how to get happy. But it does not buy happiness. If you're in it for just the money, you're going to be a very sad person. I've seen some miserable rich people.
That's right. I like that. Miserable rich people. That's so true. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about, your journey and what it took in a summary to build these successful, profitable practices and how you got to the point of exiting them.
Yeah. So it's kind of a funny story. I was a general practitioner, started practicing in 1982, and from 1982 to about 1996, I made a good living. But I was working about 60 hours a week, but I was making probably netting about 200, 250. This is back in the early 90s. And then my business grew about 5 to 10% every year. Did no marketing other than a yellow page ad and just word of mouth. And then in like 1993, I saw my practice start to plateau. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm doing a better job. I've got more experience. I'm getting better results from my clients. Why is this happening? And so back then I was doing different types of practice. I was pretty good at DWIs, and I went to DWI. I also did personal injury. And I went to court, and I can't remember the guy's name. Say Joe, he came in with crutches. And I said, what happened? He said, I got T-boned by this truck. I said, oh my gosh. I said, well, I do that. He said, yeah. I saw this lawyer on TV, and I figured he must be good, so I hired him. I said, oh my God. And anyway, so I tried his case. I won it. Go back to my office. I got 2 partners. I said, we've got to rethink this. I said, this was after the Bates decision came out in '87. So we had several lawyers in the state. I was in Raleigh, North Carolina, that were really doing big time TV. And so my My partners were dead set against it. They said, no, it's unprofessional, da, da, da. And so I left in 96, September 1996. I took one associate and 3 staff, and I started a law firm. And I didn't have no clue about really how to get it going. I mean, I really didn't. I went and bought J. Thunberg's book, and that really wasn't helpful because I was already at a different stage. You know what I mean? I needed that book back in 1982, not 14 years later. So I went out and I tried to find the most successful lawyers I could across the country, and I went and asked them, could I go shadow them and just pick their brains? And I'd just take 2 or 3 days and go visit with them and talk to their people and see how they had done so much so quick. And then I really got into marketing, and there was not really anything out there to teach lawyers marketing per se. So I studied some of the gurus at the time, Dan Kennedy, Jay Abraham. I read a lot of books, read some of the classics like Scientific Advertising by Claude Hopkins, stuff by Ross Reeves. I just read and devoured so much information. And then I tested, and some of the stuff worked and some of it didn't. And so I went out and I pretty much mortgaged everything I had, went and borrowed $500,000 line of credit. And I went on TV, and I went from taking 20 cases in a month to 120 cases. And then I almost went bankrupt because I didn't have the infrastructure set up. And it was the only time I ever got depressed in my life. I actually went to bed for like a week, and I just couldn't get out of bed because, I mean, I said, you know, I can't do this. I was so lucky that I found this woman that came in my office, and she was really keen on processes and procedures. She said, you have no infrastructure. She said, I can help you. And she did. And we turned it around, and listen, a lot of bumps, a lot of work, and a lot of stress, to be honest with you, because I did not set up my infrastructure first. And big mistake, if you're going to go spend a bunch of money on marketing, it's going to be successful, which ours was. Which is, as my mom said, be careful what you wish for. Well, you know, that was the deal. But we turned it around, and, you know, it just, getting that infrastructure set up with the processes, the procedures, the systems, and then hiring really good people, and really big on client service. We were like so big on client service. I mean, that was I mean, we had a deal. I had a thing. You talk to our clients like you talk to your grandma. If you end a sentence with grandma, if you wouldn't tell your grandma this, don't say that to our clients. So we're really big on that. We did a lot of things to push that. We did some things that I tested a lot of stuff. Some of it didn't work. Half of it did. And what we did work, we chucked more money in it. And in 5 years, we went from that 2 lawyers and 3 staff to 13 lawyers and 47 staff. And we went from doing $500,000 a year to like $8 million a year. It was like crazy. And the deal is, I wasted so much money not doing, I mean, I really had no roadmap. I had to it was trial and error. So I sold out in 2010. I was going to go retire. And all these lawyers kept calling me, wanting to give me the secrets, give me the secrets. And I said, you know, there was nothing there for me. So I'm going to start an organization. So we started this organization and called PILMA, PILMMA. And so what we do now is we help lawyers grow their practices. And it's not just about marketing, it's about management. And it's everything from hiring, firing, grassroots. And so we have lawyers now in it that are solo practitioners, and I have lawyers in it that have 55 lawyers. I mean, it goes all across the board. But I'd say the core of it is more than 5 partner law firms. And we offer a lot of services done for you. We do a newsletter. We do some social media posts that we give them, and postcards that they can use. And I do a monthly teleseminar. I do a monthly magazine. We have a proprietary software called Touchstone that helps you create the processes and procedures and set up your organizational charts so that you have all this stuff memorialized. What I call intellectual capital. Makes it real easy to where you're not held hostage by your employees, and you also is a great onboarding. And then I do masterminds, I do individual coaching, and get ready to launch a new program called Strategic Coach, where it's going to be a 2-year program where it's really set up to build the practice that you want. There'll be some people in there that want to make $10 million, and there'll be some people in there that just want to work 30 hours a week or 20 hours a week. And I'm going to help them over a 2-year period. We're going to be once every quarter, and then we'll have monthly calls. And they'll have access to all the other stuff that Pilmer offers. And I think it's really going to be a game changer. I'm excited about it. I put a lot of work into it, and I'm excited about it. What I'm telling people is I'm taking everything that I learned the hard way by making mistakes, and I'm going to give them shortcuts. I mean, now here's the deal. None of this works unless you go implement and you go take action, because I don't care how much you know, if you don't do anything with it, you don't make a damn. That's just the way it is. I mean,
there's a reason why the top 10% are only 10%.
Yeah, I mean, because it's all, the information is out there. I've got it for everybody. But what I find, and it's funny, we do these events. We do an annual event. In fact, I invited you to go speak next June in New Orleans. We'll have 300 or 400 lawyers there. And 90% of them, 100% of them will be jacked up, and 10% of them will go back and actually do something with it. 90% of them will say, well, I need to get to it. But the ones that are successful, you've got to be real focused. I call it laser focused, disciplined, and
that's the truth.
Manage your time. I mean, that's one of the things I really teach is time management, because I call them time vampires. It really kills you. I mean, listen, we all have the same amount of time in a day, but it's funny to me that so many the successful people get like 10 times more stuff done than the people that are not successful. And it's because they manage their time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And they get stuff, they get stuff done. I mean, my wife tells me, she says, I've never seen a man, I'm just on my second marriage now, so I've been married about a year. She says, I've never seen a man get more done in a day than you do. I said, yeah, but I don't waste a lot of time, but I still go play golf, have fun, and we go sing karaoke, and I got a good quality of life. I mean, I work out in my gym shorts beside my pool. I mean, down here in Myrtle Beach, and have a good time.
Yeah,
but when I'm working, I'm in work mode.
Yes. And I think that's a really good point that you make. So one of the things that led me to choose the legal industry as a niche. So lawyers have a somewhat unique hurdle when they choose to own their own law business. So in all but 2 or 3 states, you have to be licensed and practicing in order to own your own firm. You cannot have this passive business that the guy down the street who can hire a manager to supervise everything while you do whatever you want. This whole 80-20 thing is like backwards. Instead of working 80% on the firm, because of the time constraints, they're forced to work 80% in the firm, which leaves them so little time to actually manage the business. And something that they're not teaching in law schools, in most cases, to my understanding, is business and the business side of law, which is, it's crucial. I mean, you have to learn the business. And what I'm hearing from you is you had the student mindset to go out and say, I need to find someone who knows more than me.
Yeah.
The shortcut that you've learned the hard way and you are offering to other people is the same type of shortcut that you sought out. As soon as it sounds like your partners weren't willing to explore those shortcuts, you were like, okay, I'm out, because I know that there's a shortcut out there and I want to find it and do something different. And you've taken all of everything that you've learned that was kind of like a gap in the legal industry, right? Like this understanding of marketing, and lawyers didn't have access to it. And you've turned it into this shortcut for practices, which I think is awesome. And again, I think one of the most important things, in my opinion, is delegation, learning how to delegate and knowing, when to do that and also who to do that. So, we kind of talked about a few things that you agree with that are a must. If you're going to build and profitably exit, no matter the size, like you said, some people, they don't want to have a bunch of money. They just want to live a good lifestyle, and it doesn't require a bunch of money. But even still, knowing and having these few key components, you know, are absolutely crucial in building a profitable business, any business really. So, you know, one of the things that you said is having a vision. So share with us how vision played a role and unfolded through those couple of firms that you were able to exit profitably.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to have a vision of what you want in the end. Start with the end in mind. I mean, look out 5 years and 10 years, and it's not all about money. I mean, what do you want your legacy to be? What kind of lifestyle do you want? I mean, you know, how big do you want to be? Do you just want to be 2 other lawyers? You just want to be you? I mean, what is it that what's your end game? I mean, are you wanting to have I mean, are you wanting a $10 million practice, or are you wanting $1 million practice? Is the money not the big deal? What are you looking for? And then what is it that's why are you doing, what's the bigger purpose? See, I grew up very poor, and I really hate to see people get taken advantage of. And so one of my big deals was I wanted to take these big corporations and insurance companies that were, forgot to mute my phone, and,
No worries.
and take the knife that they were stabbing at my people and take it out and stick it in them and turn it about 3 times. I really wanted to help people. Now, I wanted to make money too, don't get me wrong, but my bigger purpose was I really got a kick out of somebody coming in my office that was getting screwed by somebody and me turning it around and saying, hey, we're going to level this playing field, and I'm going to make these people pay. You know, that was my bigger purpose. And I think you got to have that. I think you got to share that whole big deal with your people, with your staff, with your associates, you got to have the same values, core values, which means, you know, like my big core value is to tell people the truth, even if that ain't what they want to hear, and treat them like you would you know, your parents or your siblings, you know. Just do the right thing. I mean, you know, we got all these ethics, but hell, people know. You know in your gut if something's right or wrong. I mean, you just know, right? And so my deal is just always do the right thing and give value. You know, and everything you do, I believe in this theory, and I learned this from Jay Abraham. You know, it's called the strategy of preeminence. Everything we do should be for the betterment of our clients. So that was like my big deal. And so everybody that worked for me, everybody that was my vendors, everybody knew what my vision was, what I was trying to build. And so how can they help you get there if they don't know what you're trying to accomplish? You know, you can't keep it all inside of you. How can, you know, and then if you got really good values, then they ain't got to come to you when you got a minute every day. They can make their own decision based on the core values and try to hire people with the same core values. I mean, I had one of the best paralegal I ever had. I fired because she did not have my same core values, because she was snippy with my clients. And I told her, I offered to send her to a Dale Carnegie course on how to win friends and influence people, because she put out more work than anybody. And I said, I will pay for it, and then I'll take it out of your check, you know, over a year. And I said, either that or you're fired. And she said, well, I'm fired because I'm not doing it. And so, you know, she went on and I went on and everything. And I think that's where a lot of young lawyers and small lawyers, they really feel like that they depend on somebody. Well, what would I do if so-and-so left? Well, if you've got, and this goes into our next most important thing, I think that I learned the hard way, is you got to have the processes and procedures. That's why with PillMic, we've created this software that helps you do it. And we got guys that we do trainings every week, and they help you where you create these processes and procedures for everything. There's 4 parts of any business. There's getting the business, which is the marketing. There's fulfillment of the promise, which is doing the case. There's admin, which is like bookkeeping stuff you do, and HR, and then there's management. So we have systems and processes, like in Pillman we have it, all my law firms had it. I had manuals for everything back before we had the software. Because when I started, we didn't even have copiers. I mean, we had carbon paper. That's not what I have.
So no
But
excuses in 2020, right?
no excuses. I mean, and so it's all there on the cloud. Everybody's got access to it. I love it. I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. And it just, it makes it so much easier, to train people. And you don't feel like, because you never know what happens. People get hit by buses, they get cancer. I mean, things happen. Bad things happen to good people, right? And what are you going to do? If you're so dependent on that one person that's got all that intellectual capital, it's going to kill you, because you should never be held hostage by anybody. I mean, here's the deal. The law firm, everything you do should be in that. You should be able to take off. This is no line. I got lawyers that do it. Takes off 30, 60 days at a time. And the machine keeps running, because they've got the processes, the procedures, they've got the checks and balances. They've hired really good people. I got a guy now in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The last 3 years, he's taken off. He takes off the whole summer vacation with his kids, and they go to Europe. They went to France and Germany last year. The year before, they went to Cambodia. So he's getting to spend some quality times with his children and his wife, and his firm's killing it. And he comes back. He's got great processes and procedures, everything. He's hired really good people. He's empowered them, and they know what to do. And so he's got the. I think that would be the dream practice. If I was going to go back and do it a third time, which I'm not, is I'd want to set it up. Is that where I would be gone 2 or 3 months a year, but
Yeah, I think it's the prophet, Marcus Lemonis, who I actually got to see in person a few weeks ago. He's an amazing in-person speaker. But he says people don't buy businesses, they buy processes.
Yeah,
that's
the key.
Just like you're explaining it, because what they're buying is not a project. It's a fine-tuned, well-oiled machine that also gives them more time, because when they're gone, it's running just fine.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine that was one of the big value pieces, in being able to sell those firms on your behalf.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I absolutely love your vision and your why. It's so personal. And I think that if people can dig down to their why and make it personal, it creates this drive and this passion and this hyper focus that you were talking about. And I'm finishing up this book, Just Mercy. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
It's in my car right now, and I'm actually listening to it audio too, but it's a book that outlines, so this gentleman wrote it. He's an attorney. He was an attorney down in Alabama, and he basically exposes holes in the legal system. And specifically, let's see here, Brian Stevenson is the author. It just exposes holes in the legal system where people are treated unfairly or have disadvantages. And I think that especially in the legal system, to be so passionate about, like you said, doing the right thing, because our system is not perfect and it still needs work. And the people who are going to change that are lawyers. So I think making it a personal issue, a personal why, only moves things in the right direction. And I really couldn't agree more. So the next thing that we kind of talked about, which you've already spoken to a little bit, but we'll get into a little bit more detail, is having a strong team who buys into your vision and your purpose and contributes to the greater cause. And also something that really all business owners aren't very great at, which is delegating and knowing when to delegate and how to delegate without, like you said, giving someone too much power to where if they walk out the door, everything goes up in shambles. So speak a little bit about, how you built that team and how you went about delegating and how you even let it go. Because some people are just like, I just want to do it myself so I know it's done right. So how do you let go of that fear of it falling through the cracks?
Well, I think the number one key is hiring slow and getting the right person. And I do that when I hire somebody, it's a 90-day process. I mean, the deal is, once I find that a group of them, I got a special test that I use. I've been using for 12 years now, from a guy Jay Henderson, Real Talent Hiring. It's expensive. It's like $250, but it will tell you how that person is about problem solving. It'll tell you whether he has manager qualities. It'll tell you whether they're manipulative. It'll tell you. These people take this test, and it takes about 20 minutes to take the test. And I'll get on, and I've already interviewed them and talked to them, and I'll talk to Jay. He'll talk to you about the test. He'll tell me more about those people. I said, how can you know all this? But he knows things that you shouldn't know unless you talk to the person. And he'll also, and some people are really good interviewers. I call them professional. They'll sandbag me because they know exactly what you want to hear.
Yep.
And I took the test too. It's like, Ken, this person will never work good with you.
Mm-hmm. Is it by chance the Colby?
It's not the Colby. It's something different than the Colby. The Colby is a good test too, and I'm taking that.
That's the one we used.
Yeah, and that's good for building teams. Yeah,
Yep.
it is. Good team building because some people are more researchers and quick starters. I'm taking that, and yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is at the initial stage of just hiring them, because then you got to figure out where to put them on the bus. See, I'll hire somebody. Back when I had a law practice, if somebody came in and I just thought they impressed me, if I didn't have a position, I'd hire them, because it's so hard to find good people that really take ownership. And I think with the millennials coming along, everybody say, "Oh, millennials, da da da." It's that way on everybody. Here's the bottom line: there's two things that people love more than sex and money, and that's affirmation and recognition. And I think that's where most lawyers lose it. They don't let people know they're appreciated. They don't affirm them. I mean, I've seen it with associates. I've seen associates leave because they didn't feel like they got, the affirmation after winning a big case or something. And here's the deal: lawyers have big egos, and I think to be a successful law firm owner, if you're going to build something big, you got to put your ego down and understand that you can't be great at everything, and leverage your strengths. I got a process I use with lawyers where we go through and figure out what their strengths are. And there's a books you can find, Strength Finders 2.0. That's okay, but I even get into it deeper. And so I say, you need to quit trying to be good at this, because you're just wasting your time. Go hire somebody. I'm terrible at computers, technology. I'm terrible at this. I don't even try to learn it. I mean, I don't even try. I'm not the best manager in the world. Okay. I'm a good leader, but I know I'm not, and there's a difference in leadership and management. So I try to find real strong managers, and I empower them, and the deal, I'll stand behind them even when they screw up in front of the staff, and then I'll take them back in the office and say, what were you thinking, girl? What were you thinking? But you got to show unity, and I think getting them in the right place, because sometimes you can get a paralegal that's really great, and you say, well, I'm going to make them a manager, and they suck at it, and they're better off. People different. That's that Good to Great. That book, I would recommend reading that. It's 25. I read that in 1996. That book, Good to Great, and E-Myth and E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber were like the two big books I read.
I got them both up here.
that were like the big books. And I'll tell you something else about being successful. And I was at a leadership conference about a week ago. All the key executives in the United States read over 60 books a year. How many of you lawyers out there have read 60 books on marketing, management, leadership? No, I mean, I can't even read that many. I try to read maybe 2 a month, 3. And I'm doing a little better because I'm doing the audio books now. And I do that when I travel. I fly a lot now so I'm listening to different ones. I mean, I'm really into Bern Harnish, who wrote the Rockefeller Habits, and also scaling your business. But getting back to that, I mean, I think that's the key is you got to find the right people, and you got to empower them, and you got to let go and know that, hey, they are going to mess up, but that's why they got erasers on pencils. And here's the other thing: lawyers tend to be perfectionists, and we do have a duty to do as good as we can do, but good is good enough sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Good is good enough. And so,
Accountants are
yeah,
the same way.
you might can do it better, but you can't do but so many hours a day. So if you're trying to build a practice your dreams, are you going to be better suited to find people and train them to do 90% as good as you can? And then you got 3 of them, and then you can go home at 3 o'clock and play with your kids. I'm just saying. I mean, I think this it's just easier for me to do it myself is bullshit. Because the deal is, what is it? The Bible, feed a man a fish, or teach him how to fish and feed him for his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That type of deal. So I think the deal is you've got to put time into training and mentoring and coaching. I mean, I really push. If you're trying to build a firm and you're not a solo, you got an associate, you need to spend at least 2 or 3 hours a week with them, whatever their cases. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to be a coach. It's like that's a good leader, and you got to know how, and you got to keep them pumped up and keep them motivated. And like I said, different things to motivate different people. But the deal is, what I've found is that if you give them, the proper training and let them know what your expectations are and give them the tools to do the work with, and then they got to feel like, give them ownership and let them feel like they're part of something bigger. They got to have that ownership mentality. What I mean is they got to feel like they're part of something bigger, and they got to see to where they can grow. And if they don't, then it's just a dead end job. And I don't want nobody working for me that's just think it's a job.
Right.
We're trying to accomplish something here, and you're part of something bigger. And it's like I tell people at Pilma right now, what you're doing is helping lawyers do a better job, which is helping the consumer. Which is, so in itself, you're helping the little man, even though we're doing it through a roundabout way to helping lawyers do a better job. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you got to figure it that way. I mean, and lawyers have got the easiest job. Somebody that makes peanut butter might have a hard time saying it, but you know what I'm saying? Or making hair clips. But lawyers, what we do makes the world a better place.
Yes.
So that's the easiest part, which is hard for a lot of companies because they're just making gadgets. But lawyers, we're doing something that betters the world. That helps. I don't know. To me, it just seems so simple because that's the hard part with getting people to stay with you, is they not feel like there's part of something bigger, and we've got it very easily. If you're a domestic lawyer, you're helping either men or women get a fair shake and make sure the children are taken care of, or this, or to get fair settlements. They're not getting taken advantage of. If you're a criminal, you're making sure people aren't getting ramrodded through the system and getting falsely accused, and getting a fair trial. So, I mean, if you're doing wills, you're making sure that the family legacy is taken care of, and that people are they're saving taxes.
Yes.
Lawyers, their jobs, no matter what you do, you're doing stuff to help people.
Yeah.
Help their life, their quality of life, or help them, not get screwed over.
Yeah, I genuinely believe that, hard as it is to believe, with everything that we see on the news nowadays, but I genuinely believe that people are willing to do more for other people or someone else than they are willing to do for themselves. So, like you said first, having that vision and sharing it with your team and even empowering them with it, telling them, hey, this isn't even about me. This isn't even about this firm, this entity, this thing. This is about this mission and this purpose that we are doing that's going to affect a greater group of people and make a difference in their lives and, possibly even the world. And so, I really have to agree with you. And even, I've heard before, hire for character and train for skill.
Yeah.
Exactly like you were saying, you cannot train character so much as you can train a skill, and then getting to know your people well enough to recognize and help them recognize their strengths versus their weaknesses. And so I have some people, sometimes they're like, well, I want to do this because it's a weakness of mine and I want to get better at it. And it's like, no, go in line with what you're already doing. Focus on your strengths and develop them so that you are not a jack of all trades, but you are an expert at these few things, which can be so much more valuable.
You know, I was just an average trial lawyer. I was a great negotiator, so I did a lot of mediations. I let my associates, I hired lawyers that were better trial lawyers than I were, go to court. I went to court to begin with because I couldn't afford to hire everybody. But when we got bigger, and I'll be honest with you, I made more money when I got out of cases completely and just worked on the business. And I will tell you this, you've got to set aside 2 to 8 hours a week to work on your business. If you can't do that, you're never going to get where you want to go. And people say, I just don't have time. Well, then just don't go in the office until 9 o'clock and get up and work from 7 to 9 from home. Whatever you have to do. Some people do it on Sunday morning. Some people do it on, I mean, everybody's different. But the deal is, if you can get a habit where you can carve out, I'd say 8, but at least 2 hours a week, 2 to 8 hours. And I teach ways to get rid of these time vampires where I can make you an extra 6 to 8 hours a week. Where you can, and then this is what you want to work on. And it's going to happen if you do it. But if you just sit there and I got to get around to it, I need to do it. I need to do it. Well,
yeah. And having a team in place to handle what you're so worried about doing instead of working on your business and empowering them to do so, then in turn gives you the time to step back and let them do what they do and have your time to actually work on your business.
Yeah, and outsource some things. I mean, sometimes when you're small, you can't afford a full time like what you're doing for people. I mean, even when I had the big firm, I didn't think I could afford a full time CFO. I mean, I had a full time bookkeeper, but I hired a part time CFO, and I hired him for like 20 hours a month, and that's what they call chief finance. And they get into more strategy, and well, you know what I'm talking about better than anybody. But I wanted to when we created some stuff, and because it was a little above my head, and I wanted somebody that was smarter than I was. You know, I'd come in there and help me and show me, hey, listen, Ken, you need to watch this or look at this.
Exactly.
Your margins are here or there, you know. So we hired a CFO, and he helped me create some what I call key performance indicators so that I could really benchmark and track things and look at trends. Not so much. We like to look at trends more than we did just like month to month. I mean, you can look at month to month. You don't need a CFO for that. But we were looking at trends and different things because I had like 3. When I got bigger, I had 3 different practice areas. I had personal injury, Social Security, and workers' comp. And we were looking at trends and in different areas in PI, like trucking cases, dog bite cases, car wrecks, motorcycles, slip and falls. You know,
something that we preach is looking at your practice areas and dissecting them, because one practice area is not really one practice area. It's a practice area with sub.
Yeah, it's like a domestic lawyer. I see some domestic lawyers, you know, they just represent men, or they just do child custody, or they just do, you know, they just do divorces, or you know, so you know, some criminal lawyers just do white collar. When I was doing criminal, I never did the felony. I just did DWIs and misdemeanors. I did not want to get into murder cases. I just didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, so
absolutely.
But yeah. So I think the deal is knowing, you know, letting go and delegating to people and letting you and good is good enough, and working on your business, you know, and then the deal is, you know, you got to watch everything. I mean, you know, it's just managing. You know, as you get bigger, you're managing managers. I mean, you know, and you're using reports. With the software now, it's just so much easier with different case management systems. You can run all these reports and have benchmarks. And, you know, we used to, you got to be able to measure everything.
Yes.
You know, you got to see who's productive and who's not productive. And
to do so, you have to be able to step back and have the analytic view of the different moving pieces of your law business.
Yeah. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it.
That's right.
And people respect what you inspect. I got all the. I'm gonna write another book. I've written like 8 or 9 books on marketing, managing law firms, but I'm gonna write one on maxims, because I got all these little sayings that like people respect what you inspect, and you know you can't you can't manage it if you can't measure it. And,
yes.
You know.
Yeah, we say you can't measure what you can't see. And Tony Robbins said that business, I think his numbers were, business is 20% mechanics, but it's 80% mindset. And I think that what stunts a lot of lawyers, business people in general, really, from getting from where they are to where they want to be is mindset and being able to adjust and adapt. Because, you know, we kind of get stuck into this thinking of, when I make it, that right there, when I get right there, everything changes. And, you know, they get right there and they get stuck and they're, oh, you know, what now? Oh, I got to change again. I thought I was done. I thought I was set. You know, I got to go from here to there, and then I got to do it again and again.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
stay in my box. You know, I think that's just a hard thing for people to do.
We had a speaker at our last conference that I thought, I always like to bring in one or two speakers on mindset. I mean, my events are not Tony Robbins-esque, but I do like to have a little bit of mindset in there because I think you're right. And so they've done all these studies, and the number one factor in people being successful is not IQ, it's not whether they're wealthy, grit, which is perseverance, is the grit. People, and somebody always asks me, how'd you do it? I said, because I think it is grit, because I come up very poor, but I would not take no for an answer. And I don't look at, I always see the glass half full, and I always figure out, you know, in law school, we're taught to look for the worst scenario. But when I'm doing business, I see those obstacles as opportunities. And how can I get over them? How can I get around them? And use them as learning, you know, and I never look at failure as failure. I look at it as a learning experience. I always say, Thomas Edison took him 10,000 times to figure out how to do a lot, but he figured out 10,000 times how it wouldn't. So really, you know, you learn from your mistakes. And I think Pilma, what we do is we make it where you learn from others' mistakes. And that's a lot cheaper, you know, and that's one thing I like about what we're doing. But, you know, it's running a business is not easy. I mean, if it was, everybody would be doing it.
That's right.
But you know, you've got to work on it. I mean, you know, because people usually, if you read emails, they talk about people are technicians or entrepreneurs or managers,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whatever. And so the deal is, most people they leave a law firm and they're really good technicians, and then they get into this, they think it's going to be easy, and it's not easy. Yes. But I mean, I only worked for another law firm for 3 months. Other than that, I've been on my own or a partner since December 1982. So I love it. I love the freedom. If I screw it up, then I'll take responsibility. I got no problem. And then rebuild it. Yeah. I mean, you know, and I have. And I meant to take responsibility, and that's okay too. Absolutely. You know, yes. Well, hey, I really appreciate you giving your time. I think there was so much substance in this video and with everything that you shared, and, you know, some really key things that, again, a lot of us know, but maybe we just have this mindset of we're not really being a student of it and reaching out for the information and looking to others who have done it or are doing it, which is really the point of this video, to bring people like you who are doing it, have done it, so that, you know, hopefully people take heed to that, and they can see how to apply that to their own situation. So again, I really appreciate you coming. If people want to get in contact with you or check out Pilma, how can they do that? How can they get a hold of you? Excuse me. Yeah, it's Ken at KEN at Pilma.org. It's Pilma's P as in Paul, I as in ice, L as in love, M as in man, A.org. So it's Ken at Pilma.org. You can go to our website, Pilma.org. We got a lot of free articles there. I didn't have time to get into this. I actually created the 5 stages of law firm growth and what the problems are getting from one stage to the next and what you have to do to get there. And I kind of give them names like Solo Sam, you know, Midsize Matt, you know, and different things. And but I kind of did it, and I actually created a test. You can take it, and it shows you where you're at and what you need, what is it you need to do to get to the next level, you know, the next stage. And this is on the Pilma website. Yeah, I think it is. If it's not, if you email me, I'll send it to them. I know it's for all our members, but I can't remember. I think we give it to anybody. be honest with you.
Sure. So maybe if people reach out to you, even if you don't give it to everybody, this can be like a VIP. Hey, heard you on this show.
Yeah.
Okay.
This same 5 stages test.
Okay.
Because, I mean, we did a lot of work in it. I mean, I worked over 2 years on this, and we took all the data that we had, and I've been doing masterminds, which I think are like the best thing for a lawyer. I've been doing masterminds, not with lawyers, but with other. I paid $50,000 to be in a mastermind with, about for a year. I mean, I'm always in some. Right now, I run 5, and I'm in 2 other ones. So I'm in 7 masterminds right now,
Nice.
where you share. But we took all the data and stuff like that. And we work with the masterminds, and we come up with this, and I think it's good. I mean, I think it's true. I mean, I think it's not just something I wrap up one night over a bottle of tequila. I mean, it's
very data driven.
Yeah, a lot of empirical data we pushed through and went through and talked to our people over the last 10 years.
Okay. What about, so you kind of mentioned the event that you guys are hosting in New Orleans. Is it June of next year?
June 23rd through 25th or 6th.
Okay.
It's 3.5 days.
Is there a way for people to kind of pre-register or get on an email list to get updates?
Yeah. Just go to our website and we got a landing page there now. We don't have everything laid out because we're still filling it up with speakers.
Early,
but
yeah.
like we got you, and we got it pretty much 90% filled. But I don't like to kind of start marketing until January.
Sure.
Let people get through the holidays.
Okay.
Although we've got probably 50 people signed up already without advertising it. Yeah.
How many attendees do you usually have for that?
We'll have probably 300 to 400
Okay.
lawyers from across the United States and Canada and Australia.
Nice. So if it's filling up that quick and it's not even open yet, y'all are interested, you should probably check it out around January, February and save your seat, because it sounds like it's going to sell out. So yeah.
Awesome. You're gonna be there too.
I am. So come see me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Ken, thank you so much. You guys, this has been amazing. If you didn't get something from this video, I don't even know what to say. So awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really look forward to working with you at your event. And of course, everybody, if you have questions, please reach out to Ken. You can leave a comment on this video. We'll get to it. And we look forward to our next time. See you guys.
Thank you.